we have a new sovereign, young and a woman.
I'll escort her down from there.
No, sir. If you don't mind, the Crown takes precedence.
You don't think I would have preferred to grow up out of the spotlight?
Our next guest star in that controversial and highly anticipated new drama based on the British royal family. It's called The Crown. Please welcome Vanessa Kirby and Jared Harris. Good morning.
Good morning.
Or shall I say King George and Princess Margaret. You both do a brilliant job. I saw the first episode. Man, is this thing epic in scale. The fashions, the settings, you know, the locations you will be traveling to, which I saw in the trailer also. When you signed on, were you fully aware of how big this would be in terms of the budget given to it?
I don't think I was, actually. I don't, as an actor, just as one part of a big whole, you're sort of just concerned with your trajectory. And, you know, we became such a tight-knit group. It was really like a theatre company. And, you know, Stephen Daldry and Peter are from a theatre background as well. So we just felt like a little family, and it really began to feel like that. I feel like, you know, Claire's feels like a sister to me now. And so in terms of the scale, you notice it kind of in the sets, in the costumes, and it being immersed in that world. I mean, you really were in it. But in terms of the epic scale, only from watching it and seeing Hans Zimmer's music on it, and the locations, and do you realise, oh God, wow, this is, you know, pretty.
You can't do something like this unless you're going to commit to the scale of it.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it's, you know, it's frustrating to watch. You have to commit to that size. Otherwise, you know, you're leaving out a huge part of the story.
And that being said, you get the grandeur of it all in scale, but you did mention it feels like a little family, and that's what this feels like to the core. You are watching really an ordinary family with an extraordinary responsibility.
Right.
And I feel that this will show people that it is as much a burden as a blessing to wear that crown. So it's interesting because a lot of reports are saying the royal family is a little apprehensive about this, and you know, Netflix wants approval from the Queen, and I'm thinking, why wouldn't you give it? Because I think people will sympathize.
They never. They're not. They actually have a stance that's gone back for decades where they never publicly comment on anything like that. So I think the most that you get is a back channel nod somewhere along the line, but yeah.
They really,
I mean, have to wait a long time if they're waiting for a Christmas card from Her Majesty.
Well, this has been set to go. Like, you've already shot 10 episodes, and it's going to document decades, right? 60 episodes are planned in the future. So you know you are locked in, without saying too much. What responsibility did you take in terms of doing research to capture, you know, the mannerisms of King George, of Princess Margaret? Did you look at old footage?
Yeah, we did. We looked at so much, so many different sort of archive footage clips and things, and only a few behind-the-scenes things that you get where they're off the record or on the mics. You get a flavour, because obviously all we know is the presentation of who these people are, and we see images and we see them shaking hands at things. So the fact that the series literally goes behind closed doors to see who are these human beings that are in this strange set of circumstances. I mean, there's a handful of people in the entire world who are, you know, who have to take that burden as their identity, and how psychologically, how does that affect you? But I mean, I read every biography I could find, from kind of news of the world, sensationalist, raunchy, articles on her, to, you know, very scholarly, serious ones, and then you piece it all together, and you kind of you have to forget about impersonating somebody at all, and just try and get the essence of who they were, the spirit, and capture that, which I think you did amazingly, by the way.
Thank you. Yeah, I mean, it's still a work of fiction, and it's still an imaginative exercise. So you do all that research, hoping that you'll find something that's going to spark your imagination, and, you know, so that when you're wandering around the streets, you've got these ideas floating in your head, and you're trying to make these connections, you know. So that's what you're looking for.
Do you have a newfound appreciation for the royals and what they do after being in their shoes, so to speak?
I didn't. I was quite apathetic, really. I sort of didn't really know what their role was anymore. I was fascinated, as you said, with the history of the monarchy and how kind of magical that was. But in terms of nowadays, I wasn't sure. But I'm in love with all of them, because I actually have empathy for what, you know, for the fact that she hasn't put a foot wrong in 64 years, is the world's longest reigning monarch. And, you know, from Margaret's perspective, you know, she would have made a very different queen, and a very sort of probably unreliable one, but a fun one.
Be prepared to get hooked, everybody. It's called The Crown, debuts on Netflix November 4th. That's next Friday. Go to breakfasttelevision.ca for more information. A pleasure to watch you both, and welcome to Toronto. Always love having you across the pond. Royal actors, indeed. Right now, over to Kev. He is our royal newsman and royal pain in the I'm kidding. Over to you, Kev.